Okay, so what I have here is an example of different types of handles that you can make. As you can see on my cylinder, okay, I added a couple of coils here, or a coil, so that it makes this kind of spirally kind of design, just to give it a little bit of uniqueness. But you'll also notice that I have 4 different types of handles on here, and I'm going to show you how to make each one of those. This is what I call the C shape. It kind of has the shape of the letter C, depending on which way you look at it. And then what I have here is what I call the candy cane, because it looks kind of like a candy cane shape, okay? And then you have the S curve, which is for obvious reasons. This has got a nice little tail at the bottom of it to be able to rest a finger underneath, okay? So you can see my pinky finger down there. I get 3 fingers, maybe 2 fingers on the inside, okay? And then rest my fingers underneath, and that gives you a little bit better grip. And then also I have this one, which is, I don't have a name for it, maybe call it the donut, just because it's a full circle, all right? So I'm gonna show you how we're gonna make those in just a second. What I do have is I also have all of my scraps from the original slab that I made. So you can do a lot of these shapes with a slab. You can use coils, you can pinch it. There's actually a pulling method, which looks kind of grotesque, so I don't usually do it. Not to mention, I never really learned how to do it just because it was never anything that I enjoyed. So if you want to, you can do a pulled handle. Check out a YouTube video on how to do that, or you can ask me and I'll try to show you. But like I said, I'm not very good at it, so it's not that great of an idea. All right, so very simply, let's figure out how we're gonna make some of these shapes. I'm gonna go ahead and start with the long slab here. For this especially, oops, didn't mean to do that. You also want to make sure that you use a straight edge, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and cut a long strip like that. Now, keep in mind, the wider your strip of clay, the bigger your handle is going to be. So if my handle is going to be this wide, okay, when I'm grabbing it, I can really get my whole hand around it, which is probably a little bit wider than we actually want. So I'm going to go ahead and trim a little bit off of that. Maybe go to like 3/4 of an inch. Okay, just slightly smaller. We'll get rid of that. Don't ever throw any of that stuff away. You can always use that for later. You can maybe roll a coil out of that. Okay. All right. So the longest piece that you're going to need is for the S curved project. Okay, or the S curved handle, which is this one here. Okay. So very simply, what we're going to do is we're going to stand this up on end. Okay, so you can see it. It was laying flat. We stand it up on end. And then we're going to curve it around like this. Now, what you can do is you can use the tubes that we had before to help create that curve so it's nice and perfect. Again, there's a tool for that. Don't try to do it on your own because it's very difficult, okay? So we're going to start with the 2-inch tube, make it a little bit of a curve there. That will help kind of create the curve that we want. For a mug this size, obviously we're going to need to make it a little bit tighter. Okay, so then I'm going to go ahead and go to the smaller one and wrap it around like that. Okay, so I don't know if you saw how I did that. Okay, so it wraps around, and now that curve is a lot tighter than when we use the larger one. Then we're going to go ahead and put the cylinder or this dowel on the opposite side. Okay, and we're going to wrap it around the opposite way. Okay, and we're pretty much just making the letter S. Okay, wrap it around just like so. So now I've got the letter S shape here. All we have to do is cut a little bit off there. I always make it a little bit longer just in case I need to add some more, okay, a little bit later on. But then I can go ahead and take this, and this will kind of hold its shape. It's not going to be perfect, and it's not going to stay there always, but it'll at least give me a little bit of a design there. Okay. Now you'll notice that I'm going to attach it to the flat side here. I'm not attaching it to the end. Okay. Don't know if you guys can see that this here. Okay. So instead of attaching at the end, I'm going to attach it to the flat side there. So that, and then the flat side of underneath there. That curve is going away a little bit, but that's not the big deal. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and set it up right there. Now, if I can find that seam where I connected the 2 pieces, the 2 ends of my slab together, I'm going to go ahead and put that on there. That's going to give me a little bit of extra strength, and I don't have to worry about that coming apart. All right. So to attach that, like I said, we're going to go ahead and score and slip. grab my comb, okay? And I kind of roughly set it up there just so I can kind of get an idea of where I want that to attach. Okay, and then again, we're gonna do it on this end here, and then this part here where it's gonna attach. If I get a little bit on there that a little bit scratched that I don't necessarily want, not the end of the world, okay? Just a little dab of water, there, and then we go ahead, press that in, using my fingers on the inside to help support that, and then we're gonna press that in there. Again, if I want, I can go ahead and slide my tube back in there. Don't press down like that. It'll make a big ring in the bottom of it. Okay, it messes that all up. This is just to help keep it so that it's not getting all messed up and squeezing that part there. All right, so that gives me a little bit of strength there. Now on the inside of my handle here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna smooth that out so I don't have any sharp edges. Oops. So in here. Okay, so I'm smoothing that in so that the transition from my slab here in the inside is gonna be nice and clean as well. Okay, just like that. And then on the sides and all around, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and smooth this part of it, okay? And then the opposite side. Again, you wanna connect this in any way possible, as many places as you possibly can. The cleaner you do it here, the less cleanup you'll have to do later on, okay? But we can also do a couple of different things to help smooth that out. I'm gonna go ahead and use my popsicle stick here on the inside to help smooth that out, make that a nice, clean, smooth transition. Transitions are what makes a project clean and gives you that higher craftsmanship grade in the end. Now, what I've got here is in the top edge, okay? I got a little bit of scratch marks. We can go ahead and just kind of slide our tool down on the inside, smooth that out. So that looks nice and clean. All right, and then we'll go ahead and round things off a little bit. Smooth those with our fingers, and that top part is just about there. Again, you want to make sure that it looks like it was part of it, that it grew like that, that it just naturally just creates that shape, okay? Rather than there being something that you can obviously tell was assembled. It just makes it look that much cleaner. Okay? And then down here, all right, this might be a little bit more smoothing. And that like that, okay? So again, when we make our handle, make sure that we realize how many fingers are gonna fit inside of this. We don't need to fit our whole fist inside of it, okay? So 2 fingers there, 2 fingers underneath, okay? If I want, maybe I can curve this up a little bit more. That'll also give me a little bit better access to the bottom here for smoothing. Okay, again, I'm just kind of dragging my popsicle stick there down so that it's nice and smooth. Again, clean, smooth transitions really help that craftsmanship grade. Again, we don't want to see all those little dimples and bumps and that kind of stuff. So that's the S curve, okay? And in the next video, I'll show you a couple of the other ones and also show you how to create the braided look with the coils, okay? So you can see the S curve in it, all right? At that point, I can go ahead and take my tube out, just like so, and that helps keep it nice and round. And there's part of the mug, okay? There's still some finishing to be doing, but I'll show you that in another video.